Here's something that'll blow your mind. Taiwan's eastern coast is practically empty, and that makes absolutely no sense. We're talking about hundreds of miles of stunning coastline that should be packed with cities and resorts, but instead? It's like a ghost region on one of Asia's most successful islands. While Western Taiwan generates trillions powering the global tech industry, the eastern side remains mysteriously underdeveloped. But here's the kicker, this isn't an accident. There are specific reasons why this geography stayed empty, and understanding them reveals opportunities that most people are completely missing. Smart investors are quietly positioning themselves in eastern Taiwan right now, before everyone else catches on to what's really happening. What if this emptiness isn't a problem but actually the biggest opportunity hiding in plain sight? Let's dive into Taiwan's most intriguing mystery and discover why the eastern coast might be the next gold mine everyone's overlooking. You know, here's something that'll blow your mind. Taiwan's eastern coast is like nature's own fortress, and that's no coincidence. Picture this, massive mountain ranges plunging straight into the Pacific Ocean, creating a landscape so dramatic it'd make even the most seasoned geographer stop and stare. These aren't just any mountains we're talking about, they're part of the Central Mountain Range, rising over 3,000 meters high and acting like a natural wall that separates east from west. It's fascinating how this geographical curiosity has shaped everything from weather patterns to human settlement, creating a story that most people never get to hear. What's really mind-blowing is how this terrain basically said, nope, to easy development for centuries. While the western plains of Taiwan welcomed agriculture and cities with open arms, the eastern coast remained this wild, untamed frontier where only the most determined could thrive. The steep cliffs, narrow coastal plains, and unpredictable weather created challenges that would make modern urban planners break out in cold sweats. Think about it, when you're dealing with land that can literally slide into the ocean during typhoons, building anything substantial becomes an engineering nightmare that requires serious commitment and resources. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is something most geography textbooks won't tell you. The very features that made Taiwan's east coast difficult are now becoming its greatest assets in ways nobody saw coming. Those dramatic cliffs and pristine coastlines? They're tourism gold mines waiting to be properly developed. The isolation that once kept people away is now exactly what modern travelers crave, authentic experiences away from crowded cities. And as we'll discover, this geographical disadvantage has created opportunities that smart investors and visionaries are just beginning to recognize. Well, here's a curiosity that most people don't realize. Taiwan's eastern coast has been playing hard to get for over 400 years, and it's got everything to do with timing and priorities. When the Dutch, Spanish, and later Chinese settlers arrived, they took one look at that mountainous eastern geography and said, thanks, but no thanks. The western plains were like a welcome mat, flat, fertile, and perfect for rice paddies that could feed growing populations. Meanwhile, the east remained this mysterious, almost mythical place where only indigenous tribes thrived, completely comfortable with terrain that intimidated everyone else. But here's where the plot thickens, and this is something that'll change how you see Taiwan forever. During the Japanese colonial period from 1895 to 1945, they actually tried to develop the East Coast, but guess what their priority was? Military strategy, not civilian comfort. They built some infrastructure, sure, but it was all about controlling indigenous populations and extracting resources like camphor and timber. The focus was never on creating thriving communities or economic hubs that could compete with Western Taiwan. It's like they treated the East as a resource extraction zone rather than a place where people could build prosperous lives. Fast forward to post-World War II, and here's where things get really interesting. The Kuomintang government, dealing with millions of mainland Chinese refugees, had their hands full just housing everyone on the western side of the island. The eastern coast remained this afterthought, beautiful, yes, but isolated from the economic boom that was transforming cities like Taipei and Kaohsiung. And this historical pattern of neglect? It's created a situation today where the East holds secrets and opportunities that most investors and developers are just starting to wake up to. Now, here's where things get absolutely fascinating, and this is one of those curiosities that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about economic development. Taiwan's Western Corridor became this incredible economic powerhouse, home to tech giants like TSMC, Foxconn, and hundreds of manufacturing companies that literally power the global electronics industry. We're talking about a region that produces over 60% of the world's semiconductors, generates trillions in revenue, and employs millions of people. Meanwhile, the eastern coast? It's like watching two completely different countries exist on the same island. Here's what blows my mind about this geography-driven economic divide. While Western Taiwan was building science parks in Hsinchu and massive industrial complexes in Taichung, the eastern regions remained largely agricultural and tourism-focused. Think about it, cities like Hualien and Taitung have stunning natural beauty, but their combined GDP is less than what a single major tech company in Western Taiwan generates in a year. It's not that Eastern Taiwan lacks potential, it's that the economic infrastructure, supply chains, and business networks all developed on the other side of those mountains we talked about earlier. But here's the kicker that most business analysts are missing, and this is where smart money is starting to pay attention. Taiwan's government is now actively trying to balance this economic disparity through initiatives like the Forward-Looking Infrastructure Development Program. They're investing billions in eastern Taiwan's transportation, digital infrastructure, and renewable energy projects. Companies like Taiwan Power Company are building major solar and wind farms along the eastern coast, and guess what? Early investors in eastern Taiwan real estate and renewable energy projects are seeing returns that would make Western Taiwan investors jealous. Alright, here's something that'll absolutely shock you. While Western Taiwan enjoys world-class infrastructure with high-speed rail connecting major cities in under 2 hours, getting around eastern Taiwan is like stepping back in time. The famous Taiwan high-speed rail? It doesn't even reach the eastern coast because building through those mountains would cost billions. Instead, you've got the old railway system that takes over 6 hours to travel what should be a 2-hour journey, winding through mountain tunnels that are breathtaking but painfully slow. Internet connectivity can be spotty, cellular coverage has dead zones, and during typhoon season, entire communities can be cut off for days. Major hospitals are hours away from rural areas, and forget about same-day delivery services that Western Taiwan takes for granted. It's like living in a parallel universe where modern conveniences are luxuries rather than expectations, and this infrastructure gap has kept businesses, investors, and young professionals gravitating toward the Western Corridor. The geography that makes Eastern Taiwan beautiful also makes it incredibly challenging to connect to the modern world. Here's where things get absolutely fascinating though. Taiwan's government just announced the Eastern Taiwan Gateway Plan, a massive infrastructure investment that includes new airports, upgraded highways, and fiber optic networks. Companies like Chunghwa Telecom are rolling out 5G networks specifically targeting Eastern Taiwan, and construction giants are bidding on projects that'll transform the region's connectivity. The smart money isn't waiting for these projects to complete, they're positioning themselves now, before the infrastructure boom makes Eastern Taiwan. Now here's where things get absolutely mind-blowing. While millions of tourists flock to Taiwan's western cities, the eastern coast remains this hidden gem that's barely scratched the surface of its tourism potential. We're talking about pristine beaches that rival Bali, dramatic marble gorges like Taroko that make the Grand Canyon look ordinary, and indigenous cultural experiences you literally can't find anywhere else in the world. Yet somehow, eastern Taiwan receives less than 20% of the island's total tourist traffic. It's like having a Ferrari parked in your garage that you've never bothered to drive. The eastern coast offers everything modern travelers are desperately seeking: authentic experiences, Instagram-worthy landscapes, and that rare commodity called solitude. While western Taiwan's popular spots are overcrowded with tour buses and selfie sticks, places like the East Rift Valley remain relatively unknown to international visitors. Indigenous communities are sitting on cultural treasures that could rival New Zealand's Maori tourism success, but they lack the marketing resources and infrastructure to capitalize on it. But here's the kicker that's got hospitality investors quietly making moves. Taiwan's government just launched the Eastern Taiwan Tourism Development Initiative, with incentives for eco-resorts and adventure travel companies. International hotel chains like Marriott are scouting locations along the eastern coast, and local entrepreneurs who've secured prime coastal properties are about to see their investments explode in value. The question isn't whether eastern Taiwan will become the next major tourism destination, it's whether you'll position yourself before everyone else catches on to what's happening. So here's the million-dollar question. Now that you know why Taiwan's eastern coast has been overlooked for centuries, what are you gonna do about it? While everyone's focused on Taiwan's crowded western cities, the eastern coast is sitting there like an uncut diamond, waiting for someone with vision to recognize its potential. Geography might have kept eastern Taiwan isolated, but that isolation is now its greatest asset. Smart investors are already positioning themselves, and the infrastructure boom is coming whether you're ready or not. The question isn't whether this region will explode in value, it's whether you'll be part of the transformation or watching from the sidelines. Don't let this knowledge just collect dust. If this opened your eyes to hidden opportunities, smash that like button, share this with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe with notifications on. Because understanding patterns like these, that's exactly what separates those who build wealth from those who just talk about it.